Hey guys, Brent Hull, Wednesday design video, talking today about infusing power from good to great. How do we do that? And it's going to be looking at the past. I'm going to show you a door for a project and a client I'm looking at and how I'm going to make that door better, right? We're going to look to the past. Come check it out. Let me know what you think. Making a door better, okay? And how do you do that? And look, this I don't look at this and go, oh, it's terrible, but there are some things that we can learn from historic precedent that will make the door better and will make this whole house better. I want to study historic precedent real quick. And really this form of door, okay, is a federal form, okay? It's a fan light, right? It's side lights. You don't really have that in the Georgian period. You really see in the federal period the fan light really coming in. And so all of these historic examples show that same form. You see the elliptical top, you see the side lights, leaded glass, 6-panel door. Over here, this is a beautiful example from John Milner Architects. He's an awesome designer. They've actually coined in or kind of fit in this cut stone versus this rough stone, but the same form, right? We've got a leaded glass fan light, side lights, door, 6-panel door. Here's one at Thistle Hill, right? That historic house that we're working at. Fan light, leaded glass, side lights, door, right, shows a little bit more 1904, but look, notice too the columns, the little entablature here. You see that on all these pieces, right, that there's a centerpiece here, a little column supporting an entablature. Then this door from Salem, which is an awesome federal town. Samuel McIntyre did a lot of work there, but beautiful, right, fan light. Notice that they paint the caming white, that lead caming white, so it looks so beautiful. This one looks very similar, but it's a little bit different. And in Salem, they've got this kind of 3-panel situation going on, but only 2 panels open, which is kind of fun. But that form is very common, I guess is my point. And so when we see this form here, we're looking at it going, okay, well, yeah, there's that fan light. It's recognizable. Now, what they didn't do right, and this is where having an architectural designer who doesn't really understand historic precedent starts tripping up, in my opinion. This is a French form, okay? So the 3-panel door is more French than it is really American. And if you're into that purism and into that look, then you want to get it right. Set it back in time, but also make it look better. And so one is, that I'm going to actually put when the sash light fit into an historic thing, it was usually set inside a frame. Because it's federal, there aren't any raised panels, or the raised panels aren't as prominent. There is no, you'll notice that those other ones have these columns inside here, kind of fluted columns in between here and engaged here, right? That give it a little bit more design oomph and a little bit more, presence. And then the surround here, it's a little bit boring with the cut stone kind of setting in there. So what I'm going to do is just elevate this door using historic precedent, and that's really the key of kind of good design. And what you're going to see here, put this sheet under it so you can see it, is I've done a number of things. I've copied that Milner idea here where this would be, it's a brick house, but we have cut stone in here with the surround and a keystone at the top, right? You could also do more of a Salem thing where you have a wood pilaster set against the stone, but it has kind of a pediment, with this spandrel right here that could be infused with a little bit of decoration. Definitely going with leaded glass, okay? It fits the historic precedent a lot better. And then I'm offering a couple different ideas here, but one would just leave fluted round columns. So sometimes these are flat columns, sometimes they're round, but certainly in the federal period they're round. You'll notice that I've tied the door together so that the panels here kind of match up with the panels there. I've played around with a little bit of the door detail so that even the panel mold will match kind of this federal historic detail. I've got a rim lock on the inside. That's why that lock's so small. We would have a satellite lock as part of that. But infusing this thing with this historic tradition and looking back at some of these great designs and going, oh yeah, I like that. And oh, I like the white caming and I like this surround here and how they did that. Or, looking at Thistle Hill going, wow, they really, brought those columns out a lot farther here and they really made that leaded glass a little bit more exciting. And so, I'm looking at these details. I'm looking at how they did the little capital and they decorated the frieze here and they have a little pretty cornice across here. Look at the brick detail around around the top. I mean, another thing I can certainly do is, instead of doing cut stone, this is a brick jack arch, okay? So these are gauged bricks that run all the way around this thing that support this opening, because this is a solid masonry wall. And they're pretty stone keystone here. So instead of introducing cut stone, you could introduce brick and use brick, great brick traditions to introduce a jack arch and to introduce a pretty elliptical way of treating an elegant door. So, I'm just flipping through, looking at historic precedent. I don't even have to have a fan light, but that's imposed here. And look at how they've decorated this molding with these little gouge molding details. And, they didn't even have a capital here. These are just fluted columns. And so I'm looking at all this, gaining a lot of ideas. And look at the way they did the caming here. That caming is really thick and fat. And look at, there's these little rosettes here, right? You see what I'm doing? I am getting inspired from the past. I'm getting inspired by looking at these historic houses. This is a Corinthian column. Those other ones were Ionic columns. They actually have these modillions in here. And so I am being inspired by the past. I'm being inspired by the way this is put together and learning, right? I'm learning as a builder, but I'm also getting inspired on different ways to do this. And so, the hardware here, they've got a stirrup handle. I mean, it's just all of these hundreds of little things that are going to make this better. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of projects where you are just trying to give it a little bit more oomph, give it a little bit more beauty, give it a little more emphasis. And so on this front door, I really want to elevate it. So I am playing with, and I'm going to share with the client tomorrow, I'm playing with ways to make this better. And so ways to make it more architecturally authentic, right? I'm going to change this to a 6-panel door. It could be an 8-panel door. I'm going to change the moldings and the millwork around this thing to improve it. I'm going to change this cut stone or cast stone molding that's going around here to something that with a little bit more push and a little bit more oomph. But all of those things are going to elevate the door. All of those things are going to make it better. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to build more beautiful things. We don't want to just do run-of-the-mill. And looking to the past really helps us and teaches us how to build better. Okay, guys, see how looking at the past teaches us, shows us, and shares ways of building better. So sometimes we kind of look at stuff and if we don't remember the past, we don't remember, oh, I could put this kind of thing there, and I could change this column, and I could put this kind of door there. All of a sudden, that doorway, that opening goes from good to great, maybe from great to fantastic. That's really looking at the past, learning from the past. I think it's powerful. Let me know what you think. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.